All right. Welcome to another episode of our special segment, Draft Profile. This is the DRM. You're here with Alex and your boy Henry. And today we got a special player. We got Purdue's own Rondale Moore. Henry, floor is yours.
Rondale Moore, man. 2018. It's been that long. Technically, it's been that long since we really seen him play. He did play 2019 until he had a hamstring injury. In 2020, COVID, Purdue only played 6 games. He did opt it out to begin with, and he opted back in later on. But, we can't dismiss what he did in 2019. But first things first, he's only 5'9". Now, when you say that, it's like, damn. 5'9",
Damn, yeah.
like he's short. I mean, I'm short, but I still might be taller than him. He's only 180 pounds. And in high school, he did ran a 4.33 40 yard. So it shows on the field. And just last week or something, he posted a video of him jumping a 42.6-inch vertical, which was ridiculous. I don't even that even looked 42 to me, honestly. Like it looked like it was a lot taller than that or higher than that.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's only 20 years old. And to break it down real quick, 2019, the injury had 29 receptions, 387 yards, 2 touchdowns. This season right now, he had 35 receptions, 270 yards, no touchdowns. But his freshman year, 114 receptions, 1,258 yards, 12 touchdowns. And not only that, like a lot of Moore's game, like he runs a jet sweep, which is just like him coming off the other side of the field and just running the ball like a running back. He ran the ball 21 times for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns with an average of 10.1 average a carry. So you already seen like he can be used in many ways. Um,
Yeah.
he has great footwork. He's very shifty. Of course, you're gonna expect that from a smaller guy. A lot of his work they came in the middle, like he wasn't lined up to, to produce like long passes. Like everything was in the middle, so you already know like he's gonna be a PPR monster because he had a lot of games of believe it was 7 games of 100 yards, and average like 8 to 10 catches a game, which was ridiculous. So you already know he's a savvy route runner, which is pretty good because he makes a lot of his decisions like on the actual run. Like he runs his route, but after that, like he just creates more yards after the catch. Like it's ridiculous. Like when you see him run with the ball, and if I can just point out a specific game, go watch the highlights of the Ohio State Buckeyes game where Ohio State was ranked and they weren't, and Ohio State really needed to win that game, and Rondale Moore just went off on them, and he's 5'9". Like, let's not forget how he's short. I mean, the average height for American men are like 5'7". So, anyways, let's not go off topic. But he's 5'9", and the broadcasters in that game specifically said that he squatted 600 pounds at 180. Now you do the math of how much of your body weight is that, but it really showed because in the Ohio State game, like he had the ball, and you thought like he was already gone, and who had him wrapped around was Chase Young. You know who Chase Young? Chase Young is like 6'4", 260 pounds or whatever, and just gets away from him. Like doesn't even like his balance is so amazing. Like it showed like how much is he really squatting because he got away from that and he
Yeah.
still ran for 10 to 12 more yards. And then the next player after that, he ran against one of the defenders and pretty much just out muscled him and just got away from him and ran all the way to score. Like his strength is amazing. Like for such a young, small frame player, like it's ridiculous. And just just
Crazy.
other things, just that he tracks the ball well. Um, he like I forgot the quarterback's name, but like so many plays, like he's just smart because when he's running his route and he saw his quarterback just like scrambling around, like he knew exactly where to cut and just come back for the ball and catch the ball and just make a negative play into a positive. Now this is one of his negatives though. It's the fact that he body catches the ball a lot, and these last 2019, 2020, he did improve on it, but I still see a lot of like body catching, which is something you don't really want to see in a wide receiver. But man, but just for him being able to just uh his playmaking ability is crazy. And like I touch on like his his vision with the ball, like it's just a playmaker. Like I think it was an average of 9 yards like every catch. I wish I remember where I found it because I want to give credit where credit is due. But after that, like his yards after contact was elite. Like he will go for another 20 yards after that. Um, Decent blocker. Another negative too is the fact that he dances too much. Well, a lot of his games that we've seen, is in 2018, so he was only like what 18 years old back then, and sometimes he did try to do a little bit too much and turns nothing into something, but then it turned into negative because he's dancing too much. But I did read of an article by Jordan Reed, who covers the Purdue college football, and pretty much in an interview, Rondale Moore, he admitted to his dancing too much and his body catching and that he's going to improve on it. And that's what I like. Like every single year, like you can just see him. He's he knows where he's doing wrong and he just wants to learn to get better at things. So that's a negative, but turned into a positive. I mean, he's only 20 years old, so the sky is the limit for this kid. And of course,
There's a lot of time to work on it.
yeah, and of course, with the injury, and it's gonna be questions like, how long is he going to last in the year or whatever. And I don't expect him to be like a true wide receiver one. Like don't get it twisted. Like there is a possibility. I've seen a lot of comps to Steve Smith, and that's a pretty good comp
Mhm.
for him. And he was a wide receiver one for the Panthers. So I mean that's his ceiling. But but what you're really getting is a wide receiver two here that is just gonna be a PPR monster that's is just gonna be able to produce, short gains and turn it into something big.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of good things, man. Uh, I want to touch on a few things that you mentioned. One of the few things is that he he self reflects and he knows where his weaknesses are.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of maturity and that takes a lot of dedication to your craft to do that. To understand, it's like, yeah, I do dance a lot, so I'm gonna have to work on my release.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do make a lot of catches with my body, and it may work at the collegiate level, but it may not work against bigger DBs. And when you're getting hit in the body and that rattles you, those are drop catches,
Yeah.
and that can lose you playing time. So very mature for him to really understand that. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is yeah, I don't see him being a wide receiver one in on an NFL offense. I agree. It's a possibility, 100%, if you're using them in the right scheme. But he's versatile. He's versatile. He's a more aggressive, elusive. I know a lot of people are down on him. No, but he has produced. I see him like a little bit better, well, better prospect version of Curtis Samuel coming out of Ohio State.
That's like his floor.
Versatile.
That's like his floor, It's where he is like for me right now, I will say he's in my top 4 right now, maybe top 5.
Mhm.
But yeah, but like you got to remember like these rookies, some of them are going to take long, some of them are going to hit, some of them are not. So his floor is Curtis
Mhm.
Samuel, but his ceiling is like like Steve Smith. And just real quick to touch on like where I have him landing in the draft, I think he's a
Yeah.
first rounder. He's deserving of a first round pick. And I think he's gonna go to
Mhm.
the Green Bay Packers at 29 and be
Ooh.
used as like a Randall Cobb to Rodgers. And I don't want to give hope to Aaron Rodgers. If you listen to this, I'm sorry. I
You
hope
listen
Green
to this, but you're our biggest fan.
yes. I hope they give you weapons, and this kid will fit nicely with your system because it's gonna give Adams room to run on the outside, and he's a PPR monster. Like
Mhm.
let's get that into our head. Like this kid is a PPR monster, and if he goes into a system where they utilize the slot a lot, this is where he's gonna
Mhm.
produce.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be a first round pick. If Jalen Rager was a first round pick, lock it in that Rondale Moore will be a first round pick. Because if everyone, his only downside is that you're really looking at his freshman tape when he hit amazing numbers, as a true freshman, and then he was injured his sophomore year, and then played half the season in the COVID season, coming back and forth, which I don't know how much that takes mentally, to be in football mentality and then be not in football mentality and then come back and be in it. That takes a strain, but I definitely think he's worthy of a first round pick. I think he'll step in and be an immediate factor for a lot of different teams. I like Green Bay. I like Miami. I like those teams in the mid to late first round that are needing of a wide receiver. Green Bay, of course, any wide receiver that lands there, I think their draft at least in the rookie draft is going to skyrocket because you're playing with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I like that though.
Another thing I didn't touch on. He there's a lot of plays where I saw like he has the eyes in the back of his head, like no lie. Like he would know, like as soon as he catches the ball, he knows exactly where to turn. So he gets the right angle on the defender, or like in another play, like he used the ref as like a block. Like he knew exactly where he was. He caught it and turned around, and the defender couldn't get it because the ref is right there. So his awareness is like really good, savvy.
Yeah, yeah, he's savvy. He's definitely a smart player on the field, and definitely is someone that probably slows down the play so that way he can break
Yeah.
and cut and definitely make defenders look silly. And I think he'll do that on the next level. I think his style really translates into the NFL. The NFL really that whole offensive scheme where you got to have those playmakers that can line up in the slot, line up out wide, line up in the backfield, take jet sweeps. His only concern is obviously his body size is 180 pounds. He's a smaller dude. How long is that going to hold up? I think if he adds a little bit more, a few pounds to his frame, and maybe gets up to like 190, without losing that speed, without losing that superior athleticism, I think he'll be a problem for NFL defenses, and that's a dude that you probably want to target in your rookie drafts. Speaking of rookie drafts, where would you take him in a one QB and a super flex?
One quarterback, I will have him as high as I will say 105 because I think the top four picks are pretty much locked in right now between Harris Etienne, Chase, and Smith. So I wouldn't blame anybody taking him over Waddle or anybody else like that. So as low as 109 maybe, because if there is questions about his size and his injury history. But in a super
Mhm.
flex, at the end of the first round will make sense as long as there's the quarterbacks did go before him, and if they're
Mhm.
not, then snatch one quarterback. I mean, it's a super flex, so you better be building off those younger quarterbacks. But until the end of or in the middle of the second round, where he'll most likely be for me.
Yeah, I agree. In a super flex, talent always is going to fall, especially in a class that's loaded with quarterbacks. like this one is,
Mhm.
where you're going to get five of those quarterbacks going in the first round of the NFL draft. You're getting them in the first round of a super flex rookie draft. That's only going to push talent back. But I agree. And in a one QB, look for him in that 108 to 112 range. I think he'll be there. I think that's a guy that, you shouldn't look away. Like you said, turn on that Ohio State tape, see how he burns guys that are in the NFL, and they're not just backups. Nick Bosa was on that team.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Chase Young is
Chase
on that
Young.
team. Denzel Ward.
I had to I had to
There's some
s
guys that
I had to stop and watch the replay. I was like, "Is that Chase Young? Like, how is he not taking him down yet?"
lower body strength. Yeah,
Yeah.
that squat. You hit that squat 600 pounds. You're gonna be able to hold your own, and
Oh, it's
you're gonna be hard to
crazy.
tackle.
I
So
c
yeah, that's a dude. That's a dude. Keep an eye out, Rondale Moore. He's a draft darling. A lot of people in the dynasty community before the season had started, this 2020 college season, had him as high as wide receiver one, even over
Yeah.
Jamar Chase.
I remember
So
2018, everybody's like, "Oh, Rondale Moore's coming 2021, man. Load up in those picks."
load up on those picks, yeah, and the price isn't as heavy as people had it then. Like I said, he probably would have been had he played at least the 6 games. He showed up. He did pretty well in 2 of the 3 games. Had over 100 yards, and I believe both the 2 games, and 2 out of the 3. Um, and but right now, his price point is where you want it for a talent with a high upside to
Mhm.
be a potential high end wide receiver two on a fantasy team
Yeah.
to a low end wide receiver one at the back end of the first round. That's like Justin Jefferson
Get it.
wings, man.
Get it.
Get it while you can.
All right, peeps. That's been your player profile. Rondale Moore, don't sleep.
Purdue.
Deuces.